The night the soldier's heart stopped, the hospital smelled of bleach and rain-soaked concrete, and the fluorescent lights flickered like they were tired of watching people suffer. Stretchers rattled down the corridor, alarms pulsed like distant thunder, and somewhere between the ICU doors and the janitor's closet, a man everyone thought they knew was about to be revealed for who he truly was. No one noticed him at first because no one ever did. He pushed a mop slowly, his shoulders bent not with age but with memories, his eyes carrying the weight of wars that never truly ended. Before the story continues, take a moment right now. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of humanity, please like this video, comment, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. And tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because stories like this connect hearts across the world. His name was Daniel Carter, and to the hospital he was just the night janitor. He cleaned spills left behind by rushed nurses, wiped fingerprints from doors that opened into grief, and emptied bins filled with gloves that still smelled of fear. Most people passed him without seeing him, their eyes sliding over the gray uniform, the scuffed shoes, the slow and careful way he moved. They did not know that his hands, roughened now by chemicals and cold water, had once been steady enough to hold a human heart still while bullets echoed outside a tent in the desert. They did not know that the slight tremor in his fingers came from shrapnel, not age, and that the silence he kept was learned on battlefields where speaking too much could get people killed. Daniel had not always been a janitor. Years ago, his name had been spoken with respect in military hospitals and forward operating bases. He had been a combat surgeon, trained to work with minimal light, minimal tools, and no room for mistakes. He had saved lives while explosions shook the ground, while helicopters screamed overhead, while blood soaked into sand that never forgot. But war takes payment in strange ways. After one mission where he worked for 36 hours straight, choosing who lived and who didn't because there were not enough hands or time, something inside him cracked. He came home with medals he never displayed and nightmares he could not escape. The hospital where he was once celebrated felt too loud, too bright, too full of expectations he no longer believed he deserved. So he disappeared into a quieter role, one where no one expected miracles from him. Cleaning floors at night meant fewer faces, fewer questions, fewer chances to fail. It meant he could help in small, invisible ways and leave before anyone thanked him. It meant survival. On that night, rain hammered against the windows as an emergency vehicle screamed into the bay. A young soldier named Ethan Brooks was rushed in, his uniform still smelling of smoke and fuel. He had collapsed during a training exercise, his chest seizing with a pain that stole his breath and then his pulse. Nurses moved fast, doctors followed protocol, and machines took over the rhythm of his failing body. The corridors tightened with tension, every second stretching thin as glass. Daniel watched from a distance as he always did. He leaned on his mop, pretending to scrub the same spot while his eyes followed the controlled chaos. He recognized the look on the soldier's face even before the monitors screamed. He had seen it too many times, the moment when the body gives up before the spirit is ready. His chest tightened, and a familiar instinct stirred, one he had tried to bury beneath detergent and routine. When the alarms went wild and the words cardiac arrest spread like wildfire, something shifted in the room. A senior doctor hesitated, the kind of hesitation that lasts only a second but costs a lifetime. The equipment malfunctioned, hands fumbled, and panic crept in despite years of training. Daniel felt the old clock start ticking in his head, the one that counted down lives in heartbeats. He stepped closer without realizing it, his mop abandoned, his body moving on muscle memory older than his fear. No one invited him in. No one told him to stop either. In the blur of urgency, the janitor became just another pair of hands, then something more. His movements were calm, precise, almost reverent. He assessed, adjusted, and acted with a confidence that cut through the chaos like a blade through cloth. The room seemed to breathe differently around him, as if it recognized authority it had forgotten. The doctors noticed then. They noticed the way he positioned himself, the way he anticipated what was needed before anyone asked, the way his eyes never left the soldier's chest. Questions hovered but had no time to land. The heart monitor flatlined again, and the weight of that sound pressed on every soul in the room. Daniel did what he had done 100 times under worse conditions. He focused, shutting out the noise, the years, the guilt. In his mind, he was back under a canvas roof with dust in his teeth and lives stacked like sandbags. Only this time, the room was clean, the lights were bright, and the boy on the table reminded him of someone he once couldn't save. Minutes stretched into eternity. Sweat ran down foreheads, gloves grew slick, and hope thinned. Then, slowly, impossibly, the line on the monitor jumped. Once. Twice. A rhythm struggled back into existence, fragile but alive. Oxygen rushed where it was needed. Color returned to skin that had gone gray. The soldier's heart found its way home. When it was over, silence fell like a held breath finally released. Relief washed through the room in waves, leaving exhaustion behind. Only then did someone truly look at Daniel Carter. Someone recognized the posture, the scars, the way he stood as if braced for another explosion that never came. The truth surfaced quietly, passed from glance to glance, from whispered realization to stunned respect. The janitor was a combat surgeon. Daniel stepped back before anyone could say his name. He wiped his hands, picked up his mop, and retreated to the corridor where his reflection stared back at him from a polished floor. He felt no triumph, only a deep, aching release. For the first time in years, the weight on his chest eased just a little. He had stepped into the fire again and come out without losing himself. News spread through the hospital by morning. Staff who had never learned his name before nodded with something like awe. Some thanked him, others simply smiled, unsure what to say to a man who had hidden a lifetime of bravery behind a mop bucket. Daniel listened, accepted, and kept cleaning. He did not ask for his old job back. He did not need medals or headlines. He only needed to know that when it mattered most, he had answered the call he thought he had abandoned. Days later, Ethan Brooks opened his eyes in recovery, his heart steady, his future intact. He would never know every detail of what happened that night, but the ripple of that saved heartbeat would move outward, touching families, friends, and strangers who would never learn Daniel's name either. And that was enough. Just before the ending, please comment below and tell us what this story made you feel, because your words matter more than you know. As Daniel pushed his cart down the corridor once more, the hospital hummed around him, alive with quiet miracles and second chances. He was still the janitor to most, and that was fine. Some heroes don't need to be seen to change the world. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that compassion can wear any uniform and greatness can hide in plain sight, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps stories like this reach the people who need them most, and together, we keep kindness alive.